Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV. And hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio out of New York. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is The Art in Creating Mental Health Wealth. And joining me on this program each and every week, a dear friend, wonderful person, and the founder of World Jenny's Day and the Epiphany Process. Let's welcome JENETTA Barry. Hi, JENETTA.
Hey, Dr. JACALYN, lovely to be back. I've been traveling so much, and I feel as though I lost touch with you with the travels. I was on safari, and so to be back is just such an honor and a privilege, and to have everybody online again.
I am always just so appreciative and thankful for the energy and the technology that enables us to come together. You're on one side of the world and I'm on the other. And I love the fact you're on safari. I'm here behind this green screen and we are just making things happen. And you've brought another wonderful guest to the platform. But before we bring her out, as I always do, I'd love to spotlight you, JENETTA, and just share a little bit about your story and why we do this show.
Oh, Dr. JACALYN, thank you so much. You know, it's such an honor and privilege to be able to share this each and every week with all our listeners and viewers, because I know that each time it is shared, it makes such a difference. And the reason why I'm here is that in 2005, I lost my 16-year-old daughter, Jenny, to suicide after she and I had an enormous argument. And it was devastating. I didn't think I'd actually get through it. And there were a few times where I nearly didn't. I actually planned to end my life. And it wasn't until I had a defining moment, I suppose, an epiphany moment, that made me realize I'd forgotten I had choice, that I then set about really difficult. This was not easy. So any same form, please don't think that I just went, okay, I made that choice to live and inspire, and finding accurate ways to get and loss that just seemed to control me. A process which I call the yin and yang of science, and started working it through. I had to walk the walk.
Well, we seem to be having a little bit of technology issues. That's okay. And so we're just going to bring JENETTA back. Here she is. Hi, JENETTA.
Yeah, so I had to walk the walk and talk the talk and make sure that I dealt with every aspect of that loss so that I could find that hidden gift within my greatest life test. It wasn't easy. And with the result that I've been able to help thousands of people all over the world. I've been online assisting people internationally for the last 14 years. And some amazing stories of people who've now started living a life again when they thought they never could. Really fills my heart with so much appreciation that this can happen. And a few years after Jenny died, we realized that she died on World Mental Health Day, the 10th of October. So we've now created World Jenny's Day, and we use this forum to use all different types of art, performing art, as well as creative art, drawing, whatever that is artistic, to address how one can get through this and live a life that's filled with inspiration, and to celebrate on that day mental health wellness, and showing through either performance or discussions how to what it is one is feeling when one feels compromised, what it's like when you feel compromised as a carer of a person who's feeling compromised, and also what the solutions are and how accurate those solutions can be, especially when we use people I've worked with over the years who sit there and go, this is where I was and this is where I am now. And so we've had 2 years of World Jenny's Day now that have both been very successful and impactful. And we've got this year coming up, which promises to be even more so. But the big thing is, and this is why I'm so inspired to be with you, Dr. JACALYN, and USA Global TV, because this program today, this show, is about the art in mental health wealth. So this program is about bringing in people who understand art, appreciate art, have used art to make a difference, and have shifted people into new ways of understanding and being, and increase their mental health abilities and wealth and appreciation of not only that it's about always being upbeat, but the appreciation of when you're not upbeat, how that actually serves you. And today's guest is no exception. And so I would very specially like to invite Patti up, and I'll give an overview on Patti before we bring her up. In 2011, Patti Dobrowolski took the stage and gave a TEDx talk that went viral, so viral that over 6 million people around the world have seen the value of drawing their future to turn their dreams into reality. And Patti, who is a comic street performer and was a waitress, drew a picture of herself on Broadway that landed her there 3 months later. That is how powerful being able to do this. Now, lots of people talk about visualization boards, but when you can actually draw where it is you want to be, and by the way, you don't have to be an artist to do this. She brings out the genius in you. And so since then, she's drawn thousands of drawings for people and organizations, including World Jenny's Day. She and I are going to share what we did on World Jenny's Day this last year. And why I'm so inspired is that Patti and I met on audio app Clubhouse last year when the world was in this place of absolute limbo. And she and I instantly set up 2 plans of action when we met. There was this wonderful rapport. I just thought, what an amazing lady. The one was to have 79 steps to World Jenny's Day, where I wrote an inspirational quote and she did a picture that was part of that quote. And we set up an advent calendar, and that was her idea on the World Jenny's Day page. And also having Patti and one of her qualified students, Sam Seen, draw World Jenny's Day 2021, both on Clubhouse, where we had an amazing 24-hour marathon. I'll chat about that a little bit later. And through the day's visual streaming on 10th of October. So Patti was played such a huge part in World Jenny's Day 2021. Apart from having had that with her, she and I, Patty's also a high-performance business consultant and a 4-time TEDx speaker and author of 2 books. So without much more ado, because what an amazing lady, I'd like to introduce you, ladies and gentlemen, to Patti Dobrowolski.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Hi,
Patti.
Dr. J. I'm so happy to be here with you and JENETTA. Wow, what an honor to be here. Thank you.
So happy to have you. I love your energy, and congratulations on all your success and accomplishments.
Yeah, it's always very surprising. I tell people, well, I started off as a really broke actress, and then through being able to pivot myself from one career to another, I ended up in business drawing pictures for, great Hollywood, for big industry leaders all around the world. And I think to myself, wow, I went from really being a waitress to doing this. And I'm really just so grateful to have had the experience and to meet you, JENETTA, and have our experience together with World Jenny's Day. That was really incredible. I drew a lot of pictures. She wrote a lot of quotes, but that was a lot of pictures in the 72 days leading up to that, right?
Yes. In fact, the 79 days is part of an interview we've got coming up with Karen Dark, who is a British Paralympic gold medal cyclist, paracyclist, and her Quest 79. And Patti and I took that under our belt, and we're going to show that just now. But Patti, before we go into World Jenny's Day, we'd love to hear more about your work and what it is you do with people.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I discovered was when I was at a pivotal moment, meaning that I had had some kind of career crisis and I wanted to get myself out of a slump, any kind of depression that I was in. One of the things that I did was I started to envision the future because I knew it was powerful. Your imagination is really the power tool that you're born with. But I knew if I drew a picture of something that I wanted to have happen, and I put it somewhere that I could see it every day, and then I took these small actions, inevitably the things on that picture would come to be. And so I created a process called Draw Your Future, and I've just been training people and using the process with people all around the world to help them either create a new product launch or to change a business model, to get their teams aligned, or if you're a small, medium business, to get a vision in place so that everybody in your team knows what the vision is, where they're going, and then what their job is and how their role impacts and changes that. And that's really what I've been doing. And, most of the people, so of those 6 million, which was a big surprise to me that many people had watched that. My social media person, Emer, she said to me, hey, Patti, on this bootleg channel, 6 million people watched your TED Talk. I'm like, what? That's crazy. But the fun part was people wrote comments in there. So there were like 42,000 comments. And I read all of them. And 98% of the people said, my drawing skills suck. And what I want to say to you, if you're listening, is it doesn't matter if your drawing skills suck, because the neuroscience shows us that if you actually draw badly, you remember it better. And that's why a picture is important. When you draw a picture of the future, even a bad one, and you put it on your bathroom mirror and look at it, what it does is it programs your hippocampus and it taps what's called the reticular activating system. And that is the cosmic power of you. It's like your built-in Google Analytics. So in your memory, it's going to pull up all those things in what you've done in the past or seen. And then in your outer world, you begin to see almost like little doorways to get through, to get to that goal. So you get this deeper insight. And the main thing for me is that drawing, it changes your chemistry. So if you feel like you're not sure what's happening in your life and you're wondering like, wow, God, what's next? Or I feel bad, get a pen and a piece of paper and start to draw your future, because it taps into this serotonin in your body when you dream and draw. And that is a powerful change. And so when we did the 79-day challenge, I drew every day. I draw a series of pictures for JENETTA to use. And you can do that for yourself. You can see behind me, I have a picture of my own. This is my divine future. And all of the things that I dream about, I put in here, and then I color them in when they start to happen, like a clothing line I started to design. All these things are starting to manifest. And as they do, then it just taps that success button inside, and it's just amazing. So that I would just encourage anybody who wants to draw a picture of their future. You can watch my TED Talk, Draw Your Future, and you can see how easy it is for you to make change.
That is fascinating. And I love looking at your board that you have behind you and all these different aspects of your life. I just have a couple of questions, Jeanette, if you don't mind. I'm just going to jump in here. So, Patti, how much forward in the future should you be projecting and through your drawings?
That's such a great question, because it doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, if you go further into the future, let's say you go 10 years out, Dan Sullivan would say go 20 years out, right? So that when you go 10 years out and you attach yourself to that future you, it increases your chances of success in the here and now by 42%. So the farther out you go, let's say that you were going to take, and your whole platform is going to explode, and it's global. You have USA right now, but it's a huge platform that everybody wants to participate in from every walk of life, and it's such, it's streaming everywhere. It probably already is doing that, but I'm just going to expand it. Mm-hmm. And that even you have this sort of platform. This is what you want. You want to just attach yourself to that person. And the way you can do that is you can have a conversation with that person, that future you can ask advice from them. You can have a dialogue, journal about them. But attaching yourself to that future you is what's essential. And what's cool about that is that when you make decisions from the here and now, who you are, you're not really looking at the big picture of all the possibilities. You're limited by what you've already experienced. So you're doing something called backcasting. You're backcasting to previous experience to get you into the now. But if you go way out there and organically let the drawing evolve to the most incredible things you could ever imagine, just think about that. I was an actor doing street theater. I walked through the Broadway district. 3 months later, I was on Broadway. Does that make sense? Like, it's incredible the things that you can create. I wasn't actually there 3 months later, but I got into a show that eventually went right to Broadway in the same year. So these things, I wouldn't have even imagined. I was a performance artist. I wanted off Broadway. I didn't even think about Broadway, but every time I walked through there, I thought, man, that'd be cool to have the show up there and the stage lights, and then walk behind the curtain, and I would play it in my mind as if it were happening right now. All the famous people I would meet, all the people that, Katharine Hepburn came to see the show I was in. I mean, really, to me, that was incredible. And wow. So the bigger the dream, the better. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And just second question before we go over to Jeanetta, I see that you've got all these different diverse things that you're interested in. And when I was in corporate, I was always told you're an inch deep and a mile wide. So, and I know I'm still like that because I have a lot of aspirations. So for people who are out there and they want to do this area, that area, is that okay to just take it anywhere you want to go?
I think so. What's true is that the brain can only focus on one thing at a time, right? So if you have multiple projects like that, for example, I'm working on 2 books at the same time. I'm designing stuff in my free time. I still teach courses. All of those things are scheduled very carefully into my calendar. so that I don't feel like it's out of control, that I can actually track my progress. So those really basic things of scheduling and tracking, they're essential so that you can keep your whole team together and motivated. But I think, we're we are multidimensional people. So the more multidimensional you can allow yourself to be, and the bigger the dreams are for you, stuff that's going to happen to me in this year is not even on that map. Things are going to be incredible because I believe it's true. And I act as if it's true every single moment of every day. And then I ask sometimes, well, what's surprise me? Have something happen that's surprising. This is surprising to be here. I don't know you. I've never met you. This is fantastic. I love it. And it brings some of my dream together, right?
Absolutely. Wow. I am so excited that you're here, and just to see your map and what's in your mind, what's going on for you is just fantastic. So thank you again for this opportunity to connect with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Janetta.
Well, I wanted to follow on because you've asked the questions of the future, but I would love, and I'm sure all of us would love to hear your backstory, which is when did you start drawing your future and not just having it in your mind? And what was it that motivated you to start drawing? Was it because you were in a most difficult circumstance and it was a form of release, or how did it come about?
Yeah. I wasn't an illustrator at all, but I pay very close attention to what happens to me. I always wanted to learn about how the universe worked. I never took it at face value. This is it. This is my life. I knew that magic happened because I would see these magical things happen in my own world where I would meet people suddenly out of the blue. Well, and at the time that I was an actor, I honestly, I had lost my job. I had not, someone said to me, I'd done a show and somebody said, you should go to New York and take some acting lessons. I go, okay. Well, I happened to be working for someone who was a Broadway actress, former Broadway actress. And so she said, come to New York and stay in my third floor walk up. I'll get you into acting school. And so all that happened. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Well, when I got back to Seattle where I lived, my shifts dried up at the restaurant where I worked. My mom got really sick. I had to fly back and forth or drive back and forth to LA to take care of her. And I was really depressed because I didn't have any money. And I was here. I knew I had to make my rent, and I was out raking people's yards, And so I just thought, how can I shift this? What can I do? And I just sat down to draw. I just drew what it was that I imagined the best case scenario, was me, being seen as an actor, being able to do what I loved. And this drawing piece, even though I couldn't draw, I just put color in it and a stick figure of me in this environment of the theater with the drapes, And that's exactly what it looked like when I got to Broadway, was that same red drape that I would stand behind every night waiting for the curtain to rise. And so I thought, wow, that was incredible. And so I tried to unravel that after I was, the Broadway show was over. And I didn't know, every time I would get to a place where I was stuck. So I had a kind of an artistic break. I couldn't perform anymore because I had been in that show on Broadway. But what was true is I had done my own material in New York, got great reviews, went to Portland, Oregon, did the same show. And the review read, can't sing, can't dance, can't act, can't write, don't bother, right? In the cover of the Oregon paper. And I was like devastated. And I thought, well, I'm not going to act anymore. That's it. So I started weeding people's gardens because I didn't know what else to do. But while I was in that garden, I drew this picture of myself as a speaker. I thought, well, if I can't do that, I'm going to be a speaker. And I drew this picture of me doing that. And then, it took a while for things to happen. I had to get another degree. I had to go back to school. But then it all unfolded. And so sometimes you draw things in your picture that are out in your future and you think, wow, that's incredible. But it doesn't happen right away. And the thing to know is that life is preparing you for the opportunity of that. You just have to match your energy field to what that requires of you. And sometimes that means you got to go through a bunch of hard knocks to get there. And certainly every time I wanted to pivot, I just drew a picture, and I ended up in a corporate setting because I had gone and gotten a degree in drama therapy, and I was not a terrible therapist. I mean, really, honestly, I would just tell people what to do. Like, you have a drinking problem, quit drinking. That guy's bad for you. Leave him, you know? And so my friend Michael said, you're never going to make money in business as a therapist. You better come into business. And so the first month that I was there, I saw a guy go to the front of the room and draw a picture of what we were talking about. And I thought, boom, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. And I just started drawing. I didn't know how. So I would intern with somebody who could draw and have them show me. And that really is how I got started. And I've had, just amazing experience in working with all the big brands and, people in Hollywood, and just getting to do things that I thought, wow, okay, that was never on my map, but okay, let's do it. Right.
Wow, what a fantastic and inspiring story. I love that you shared the ups and the
Absolutely.
downs, and the fact that it doesn't come necessarily just, it's not going to be a gift on a platter that people are going to hand you.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, people think you do a vision board and then boom, it happens right away. But even some of the great thinkers, I was thinking about Bruce Lipton or people like that who've been working with energy and how you use energy in the world, and manifesting things. you know, it takes time. You have to be in alignment. So some of the things on your map are going to happen right away. That's because you're ready for it. Other things, you need to develop the skill or the humility or the talent to do that. And it takes time. Wouldn't you agree? Because I'm sure in your whole career that you've had that experience, and you have to keep yourself motivated, right?
Absolutely. There's always little curveballs, sometimes big boulders that are going to
You
come back
do.
in.
I so agree. It's understanding that you can be very clear and certain and focused and know that this is what you want. But when you go into what I would call the fantasy of believing because you're like that, it's all going to go smoothly. What you
Yeah.
haven't factored in is what you're losing out by it not going smoothly, what not going smoothly is giving you. That if it just
Yeah.
went once you'd got your picture in place and everything was
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
according
I
to
l I
plan,
love that you're
what would be
I
lost?
love that you're saying that. Yeah, I love that piece of
Yeah.
it, because this is something this year I've been doing differently, which is I used to draw just the current reality on one side of the picture and the desired future on the other, right? So current reality on the left side, desired future on the right. And then what would happen, and then I'd close the gap with 3 bold steps, because that will activate you. But now what I do is the challenges on the left side actually are building your superpowers for the future. So any challenge that you're facing, if you feel like, it's a boulder, what you're pushing up the hill, just know that you have to ask yourself, what is the superpower I'm developing as a result of this challenge I'm facing? Whether it's illness, or whether it's, struggling with neurodiverse thinking, or whatever it is that is your challenge. I think that's a really key thing. And it's a lot of what you, Janetta, talk about.
Yeah, very definitely, because we're in a society that's kind of addicted to believing that the more positive and more
Yeah.
fantastical you can make your future, the more successful and happy you will be. And
Yeah.
if anything, the opposite happens. I was brought up being that way, and then people would say, Janetta, you astound us so much. challenge has happened to you? I'm a cancer survivor. I've had 2 marriages. What happened with Jenny? And I've only given you the top of layer of what's happened. And I realized that the more I compromised what didn't work and only concentrated on what I thought would make me happy, the more I was shutting that part of myself down as being not good enough and not valuable enough. And the moment I could see where my negative side, my negative traits, my negative approach, and whatever was happening to me negatively was just as precious and valuable as the upside, that is when my life began to become more balanced. And for me, when I met you, Patti, and even with you, Dr. JACALYN, I can see that that's what you've been doing, is understanding that what hasn't worked has brought you to where you are today. Yeah. And when I met you, Patti, with all the drawing side, being an artistic person, not having drawn for years, I immediately sat down and did World Jenny's Day 2021 with your advice. And so much of it just went, including meeting you, Dr. J, and USA Global TV, and Helena and Ian and so on. It was all there, not in detail, but it was there. And I just think that this I'm very passionate about. So many schools concentrate on science and math and marginalize this side of who we are. And if somebody like you can come in and say, it doesn't matter if it's a stick person, and get that creative side of our brain going, then that's when hearts open. So yeah, it's a huge accolade to you. And do you find that you use your drawing abilities in other ways, or just with the way you do it? Or is there other forms of art it's inspired you to expand into?
Yeah, that's interesting, because people ask me all the time, do you have art? Are you drawing art? And I would say, no, not really. I mean, I'm obsessed. My thing in the world is that I'm in service to life, right? I'm here to be a coworker, here to serve at the highest level. And I'm more of an actor still. So I'm still writing material and performing. That I still do. But I did put up a piece of paper on the wall, some drawing paper, to do something the other day, and it's still blank up there. So I haven't done anything, but I have been doing just a little clothing design just for fun, to see like, what would that be to do that? And I think as an artist, and because I truly am, that's the way I came into the world. I really wanted to be an actor from the moment that I could remember, get on stage and perform. And the fact that I've done all the work that I have in, facilitating large groups, from thousands of people to small groups of teams, I think that the main thing for me is I want to make sure people remember how important it is to play. That when you play, you actually tap into what is your unique DNA, your encoding, right? We're meant to play and to be free. And in that freedom of expression, you find yourself and your flow, and you connect yourself with your highest self, what you really came in as. And so for me, trying to just help people unlock that. I work a lot in Kansas City. I was fortunate to draw for the DeBruce Foundation there, and they bring me in because I work with all the kids that are are struggling in their economic path, and try to remind them, draw, get out some paper and draw, just to tap into that art side of you. It changes everything. And so anybody who is tuning in, really just know that when you get that pen and paper, you suddenly will be 5 again whenever you stop drawing. and it's going to change you. And the more you draw, the better you get. And to the point where and I always tell people first starting, look at your drawing and say to it, that is fantastic, because it doesn't take much to rewire your brain, right? You say that 10 times, your brain believes you're an artist, right? And that's what we want to go with when we're trying and testing anything new. When you feel like stuck, that piece of paper and pen can draw that future that will pull you out of whatever stuckness you're in and into your next doorway, into the future you desire. And you deserve that. You deserve that.
Patti, I was just looking at your board and remembering what you said in the beginning, that you start coloring things in as they start coming to reality. And you're doing so well. It's so inspirational.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And in fact, saying that, one of the things that I would love to be able to see at some time, and maybe that's a book, maybe not, but it might be another time to present with. Have you got all your early drawings so we could see the metamorphosis? How you
Yes, I do.
progressed?
I have a drawing of, where I just did stick figures, where I just did these blobby figures. The very first drawing that I did for a nonprofit. Yeah, I definitely do. And, I stopped drawing because I was in kinder school, right? And I drew, you were supposed to draw Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy. Well, I drew Raggedy Andy because that's who I could relate to. And the teacher embarrassed me, shamed me in front of the whole room. You have to draw Raggedy Ann. You're a girl. You can't draw Raggedy Andy. And trust me, I stopped drawing from that moment on. I never drew again until I had a dream in which I had seen these boxes flying through space. And I happened to go to a university where Matt Groening from The Simpsons, he was there, and Linda Berry. That's the time that I was at Evergreen. And I had a teacher who was really influential. And I went to her and I said, Marilyn, she's a really beautiful painter, Marilyn Frasca. And I said, Marilyn, I had this dream of these boxes. And she said, come to my drawing class and let's draw that drawing. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. And so I did. And from then it unlocked and let go of all that stuff in the past.
Yeah. And that is what this show is all about. Yeah. It's being able to understand that our creative genius is the inherent part of who we are. And when you can unlock it, no matter what, I just think being able to see your progression would inspire so many people. They go, well, that's where it started and that's where I am. And this is where it can lead me. And this really, I don't know if the sky's the limit's the correct one, but certainly the piece of paper is limitless.
Yes.
And
well, and
you
is your
are such an
imagination
inspiration.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Thank
you are
you.
such an inspiration.
Thank you.
Just wow. Dr. JACALYN, before I move over with Patti to World Jenny's Day and what was very specially created, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just know there's a lot more we're going to cover in a short time. So maybe we should get to the clip.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, this is World Jenny's Day, and a little bit of insight as to why there is a World Jenny's Day. So here we go. Why Jenny's Day? So that's what birthed Jenny's Day. There was a progression from the time of losing her right up until this latest World Jenny's Day. And with great appreciation, Patti and I are now going to share with you what she and I co-created on World Jenny's Day 2021. So Patti, feel free to interject and put your penny's worth in as well. So here we go.
Do you want me to show the first one or the second one?
if you can go into the where I've got the here we go, that's it. Wonderful, thank you. So World Jenny's Day, 10th of October. If you'd like to go to worldjennysday.com, we're actually in the website now as I move around it, and this is the page that is WJD 2021. But there's a wealth of information, including this year's already starting to come together. So please do go in and have a look. That there's a bit about Patti there, and Samseen, who is one of Patti's students that does so much and achieves so much because of Patti's tutelage. And she's there on the left. There are 2 videos there. But here's
she's a really amazing artist, and she just had pushed that back and brought it back.
Absolutely. And in fact, yeah, go and have a look at Sam's.
Yeah, and you can see here that what we did was yeah, we drew
Dr. JACALYN
for
with
Jenny's Day what was happening. We drew what was happening live, and so Sam did one early in the day, and then I did another later. So go scroll down to the live images we created, and then share how we. So here, yes. If you just keep going down, there's an example of what the live image, and it's kind of messy at the beginning, but you can see now here, down here, Sam's image is so beautiful, and it's really clear. It's covered with butterflies, so she gets all the symbolism of it. It was really, really nice job.
Yeah, she did an amazing job. And what I loved too is we had 2 platforms that we presented from on that day. One was in the audio app Clubhouse. So Patti started her day by being in Clubhouse. So if you look on there, you can see all the Clubhouse performers that she couldn't even see. She was listening to them. And she drew them so beautifully, and what they were saying and what they were singing, because what we did in Clubhouse is we started a 24-hour marathon, performance marathon, starting in New Zealand on New Zealand's 10th of October at 10 o'clock in the morning. And we moved over hour by hour. We every language present and present their music and their culture. Came back 24 hours to New Zealand. Loved being on the app.
Patti, would you like to jump in? And I'm going to share this visual. I think we can see it a little bit better here.
There. That's great. And so what she's saying is that, we started in New Zealand, then it went all the way around the globe. So when it was that time in each country, then we would have a whole new group in Clubhouse join in. Yeah, it was really fantastic.
And we also have this, which
and here you'll just see more of that, the same, just on that stage. And it was beautiful. All of the performers and speakers and interviewers, people that talked about their own struggle with mental health and how they had gotten through it. So it was really informative, beautiful, artful, incredible music. It would just go back and forth, and someone would sing or play an instrument, and just the most amazing talent there.
Absolutely beautiful work. Just so visually stimulating.
Yes. And here, what we're seeing here, just this Advent calendar that we created in the 79 days leading up to Jenny's Day. We started, I don't know, must have been in July, right? Maybe even end of June. And every day, JENETTA would post a thought and I would draw an image for it. And so these are all the cartoon images that we drew.
Oh.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yes.
She's gone, but she'll be back, I'm sure. Well, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for inviting me to be on the show and having me here in JENETTA to talk about the experience.
Well, it's just been tremendous for me as well. JENETTA is back. Let's see if we can get her on. Hi, JENETTA.
Hello. Yes, I'm back. The joys of modern technology. Yeah, I wanted to show last of all the amazing work, Patti's amazing drawings that are on that page. And I'm just sharing it now. Can you see over there? Excellent. Okay, so here is what Patti and I did. Patti suggested the Advent calendar for us in the 79 days before World Jenny's Day. And each day I wrote a motive or an inspirational piece, and Patti drew the relevant drawing. So along the top there are all the 79. You can see them there as I move across, like an Advent calendar. And then we were able to actually show each one. So here it is. There's day one with Patti's drawing and the motivational piece that went with it, and then valuable crying. And so people even now can go onto that website and draw inspiration from just, I mean, these are just such beautiful, beautiful drawings that Patti put together. Look at this. And if it's there, it's not going anywhere fast. So we were really inspired to be able to do that together. It's a work of art and love, and it's all part of Quest 79, which we'll be sharing with you in a few weeks' time, which also correlates, by the way, with the cycle safari, Patti. I don't know if you know about this, but we have from the 12th to the 16th of June, and I'm launching it tomorrow, a cycle safari in Kenya that is starting at the base of Kilimanjaro and going into Tsavo West, into a lot of historic parts where Germany and UK fought some battles in the First World War, and other interesting, really deeply insightful happenings. And as you're cycling, you've got all the wild animals around you. And then over into Tsavo Game Park East, and then right down to the north coast of Kenya above the island of Mombasa into the white powder sand beach of Watamu for the final night. So it's just such a beautiful way, and it's a fundraising event for World Jenny's Day. And it's all part of Karen, and Karen's coming in to cycle that with
Oh, that sounds incredible. She knows I'm a big cyclist, so she's baiting me for that trip.
I see the rod being thrown.
No.
No, only just saying it's there.
That's right.
So, Patti, I want to say again, such an honor and privilege to have you on our show today and to be able to introduce you to Dr. JACALYN, because I think you have so much to offer, and thank you for being you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks, both of you.
Thank you so much, Patti. I want to spotlight you. And for people who are interested in getting to know you and work with you, what is the best way for people to contact you, especially people who are listening on the radio and they cannot read the banner?
Yeah, I would go to my website, Up Your Creative Genius. That's easy. Up Your, and then Creative Genius. If you go there.com, then and sign up there to, if you create an account there, then you're part of the community. And I always do free courses there. Draw Your Future. I run that every 4 months just to keep people invigorated and going. And also there's lots of different ways you can contact me. And of course, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all up your creative genius. You can find me there on LinkedIn. And if you have a business and you want to get things going, for sure, you want to contact me. So thank you again for having me here today. It was just amazing. And everybody grab a pen and a piece of paper, go draw your future. That's my tip.
Thank you so much, Patti. And thank you for just gracing our platform. I'm going to be in touch with you and have you come back again and see us real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. JENETTA, for people who want to work with you, what's the best way for people to get in touch and who should reach out?
Well, thank you. I would say anybody who's feeling challenged and overwhelmed, and I don't know anybody who isn't at some time in their lives. That's life. So anybody who'd like to get the skills and techniques to start new powerful conversations so that extreme overthinking and extreme emotions no longer distract them from being able to get clarity and certainty and specificity as to where it is they want to move themselves in their lives. Because once you get that, the sky's the limit. I'm a very good example of not curling up and dying and doing just that. So if you'd like to get a piece of that, then you can contact me on www.theepiphanyprocess.com. And I'd love to chat with you. And if you'd like to know more about World Jenny's Day and be part of it, part of the fundraising or part of the creative part of the day and input creatively with your creativity, then worldjennysday.com is the other place to visit as well. I really highly recommend you visit both. And I look forward to meeting you on either or both platforms.
Thank you so much, JENETTA. It was a pleasure seeing you again. I'll be reaching out later today.
Yes, thank you. And lots of love. Till next week. See you next week.
Lots of love to you too. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
For everyone who's watching us on the live or watching us on the replay, we really do appreciate it. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. It means so much as we have people watching from all over the world. A couple of announcements. We have some additional shows today. Coming up next is the United Kingdom News and Culture, and our special correspondents from London, Ian Pelham-Turner and Helena Shard. They are the royal commentators for the British royal family. They'll be joining us as they do every week, followed by fashion, travel, and fitness. And then we have the Business Talk Show, followed by 2 episodes of Talking Heads. And if you're not familiar, Talking Heads is our show where we welcome experts from around the world who have their own program for 30 minutes to help make us better personally or professionally in a 30-minute session. So thank you again for being here. One plug for myself, in case you don't know, I am also a coach and the listening mentor. I teach people how to listen. I truly believe that if all of us were actually paying attention to what each other are saying and listening at an elevated level, we would have inner peace, which leads to world peace. To join my community, just go over to my website. My personal website is drjacalyn.com/join. And if you want to be a guest on our show here at USA Global TV, go to usaglobaltv.com. You can watch all of our shows there and on our YouTube channel, USA Global TV. Thank you again to JENETTA. Thank you to Patti. It's a pleasure having both of you here. And thank you all to you. God bless you and take care of yourselves. We'll see you right next after this.